at Bill Hunter Arena in the staff room, Josh. We have a big game and 2 games incoming here. It's been a little bit of a break for both of us. We had our own thing going on last weekend, so we didn't do any of the pod last weekend. But nonetheless, we're back here today, Josh. Very excited for this one. Hopefully, all of you had a great week and enjoyed the games at home, and maybe enjoying the football games at home today.
Well, I know I enjoyed the football game last week.
Oh yeah,
Coming back from Florida, if you didn't notice, a little bit darker, a little bit more Southern American, perhaps. I got the amount of times I got mistaken for Spanish when I was down there. It was everyone thought I was Spanish when I was down there. Oh yeah, and now I come back bringing that Espanol flavor to the world of hockey. No, but yeah, like you said, a couple big games coming up here today at the Bill Hunter Arena. The first one, Fort Sask. They're hot.
Yeah, on a 4-game heater, Josh. In their last, they are 4-0-0-2. So that's 2 ties, I'm pretty sure. So they are on a 4-game heater right now, Josh.
Oh, they're killing it.
It is really crazy. The last time these two teams met, it was a 4-2 win on October 26th, which was actually my birthday, Josh. And the Junior Oilers Blue ended up getting the dub on that. But the game before then, October 19th, Fort Sask ended up beating the Junior Oilers Blue 4-3. So interesting stuff. It's been pretty even between these two teams the last time they matched up. And Fort Sask is playing some very good hockey right now.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking with head coach Nathan Paprini before this, and he said no comments on the game because last time we had him on, they did not play so well.
Yes, and that's understandably so. I mean, the announcer's jinx has been a thing all year, and it always seems to be. But I will be the first to wish you an early happy birthday because I missed your birthday this past year.
Yeah.
To wish you a happy birthday. No, but in all seriousness, I think Fort Saskatchewan is going to bring a ton of problems for the Oilers. They're on a tear. The Rangers are. Their leading scorer, is tearing it up. Miller Komarniski, he's got 26 points on the year.
Wow.
And Kokosha also has 24 points. Their whole top line, King, like they are rolling on all cylinders. And like you said, they're coming off of 4 wins. They're 7-1 in their last 8. They're 11-7 on the year. But ultimately, what it's going to come down to, I think, is special teams here because the one thing, maybe the one slight that could be put against the Rangers is their power play. Their power play hasn't been all that good this year. It's only been 14%. So even if you take a penalty, you don't have to worry too much. But man, advantage, you got to capitalize.
Some of the top teams in the division, Josh, and they're playing very well. On the other side, the Junior Oilers Blue coming off a win from against Leduc, but then a terrible loss against the Junior Oilers Blue last time we called the game, which was a pretty fun one. Ended up with Jacob Lowen scoring the final one. We had him on the pod last. That was the last time we did an interview, and also them losing to Sherwood Park. Head coach Nathan Paprini said maybe the worst game they've played all season.
Yeah, and I think honestly, if I'm going to be an unbiased broadcaster, it's Fort Sask's game to lose in this one. They're the favorites, in my opinion, heavy favorites coming into Bill Hunter Arena. But when it comes to the Junior Oilers Blue, they're no slouches themselves.
Yeah, that's for sure.
There's a reason why they're above the Rangers in the standings. So they just got to continue what they've been doing and focus on the positives and don't concentrate on the negatives because there's going to be some goals against. There's no doubt about that.
For sure.
When you have the top scorers that the Rangers do, there's going to be goals against. And I'm not sure who's starting. Maybe we should have asked head coach who's going to be in net. But whichever goaltender is between the pipes, you know you're not I mean, if you stop them all, that's the goal. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, you're facing a team that has a lot of firepower. So I think ultimately the difference is going to be when the Junior Oilers make a mistake, they don't ponder on it. They don't worry about it. They don't look back on it. They move on and try to be better the next play because, yeah, the Rangers are going to bring it to them. And that's just my opinion.
Yeah, that's for sure, Josh. But here's an outlining stat for sure. The goals against between these two teams, the Junior Oilers have less games played, not by much, but they have less. And the goals against for Fort Sask, they are -1 in goals for, goals against, 71 goals for, 72 against. The Junior Oilers Blue, 69 for, 49 against. So that is a huge gap in between goals against. The goaltending for Fort Sask, as I just checked, not as good as Edmonton, but they still have some decent numbers that they can put up.
Well, I think what those numbers kind of represent is the fact that the Rangers are able to outscore their problems defensively because their offense is so good that even if they give up, 3, 4, or whatever a night, they're able to score 5, 6. So that's what I'm saying. Like when you're the Oilers, you got to understand that you're going to be facing a high-powered team, and you can't dwell on some of the things that are going to be presented to you as far as the offense on the other side. But yeah, that is a good number because that shows you how good not only the goaltending is for the Oilers, but also the defensive side of the game. But I mean, a good defense, does that always beat a good offense? Who knows?
Yeah.
We will see, right?
Yeah, so kind of just looking at some of the games throughout the season, Josh. Yesterday, Fort Sask beating Sherwood Park 6-3, like I mentioned. That's a big win for them. Leduc beating St. Albert, who is taking on the Junior Oilers Orange to that. Let's kind of shift to that game because that is also...
That's a big one, too.
It's going to be a fun game.
Both games today are going to be really, really good. I'm super excited for both games. And the thing about all 4 of these teams that are playing, they're within, 2 points of each other in the standings?
Yes, it's decently close.
Yes. So there's a lot of implications as far as standings are concerned with these games. Like, theoretically, depending on the outcome of these games, all 4 teams can shift in standings.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That's how close it is right now. Head-to-head, the St. Albert Raiders facing the Junior Oilers Orange. The Oilers have their number 2-0 against the Rangers, or against the Raiders, sorry, the St. Albert Raiders. They have a 7-4 win, a big win back on November 6th. And then back on October 11th, the Oilers beat the Raiders 4-2. And the last few games, though, for the Junior Oilers, they've come off a couple losses.
Pretty tough, and for the Raiders.
Raiders too, yeah. So that's what I was going to say. Both teams coming off a loss. Both teams are going to want to bounce back. So this is kind of a good game in a different aspect, right? In game 1, it's the Rangers coming in hot, and the Blue trying to cool them down. In this one, in game 2 of this doubleheader, it's 2 teams that are coming off losses and kind of clashing, and to see who can, end that losing streak. So it's 2 completely different games, but 2 just as exciting games with 2 teams that are equally as good as the other 2 teams. Because like we said, all 4 teams that we've been talking about are really, really close in the standings. The Raiders are 11-6 on the year. The Junior Oilers Orange are 12-7-1. Raiders, though, in the last 10, they're 7-2 in their last 9. Sorry, and the Junior Oilers are 6-3-1. So it's pretty close as far as recent standings and recent games. But look at this. Look at the Raiders' power play.
Buzzing. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, 30%. Oh.
Yeah, good. But I mean, the interesting part about it: 37% at home, 12% on the road. So now it's going to be coming up to a task where you face a very, very good penalty kill at home for the Junior Oilers Blue at 87%, Josh, which is absolutely phenomenal. It'll be really interesting to see how they can find ways to get up to that 20% mark, especially on the road. 12% is not a good power play by any means, Josh, especially on the road.
Yeah, I think more so in game 2 than game 1. I think special teams are going to be a huge factor.
Yeah.
You give Raiders a power play, whew,
Yeah.
you better be ready.
Yeah, and just looking at some of their top scorers, Ozzie McIntyre with 26 points. Ben Harvey, though, not far behind with 23.
Yeah, Ben Harvey's been great. He's been really impressive. He's been a pleasure to call his games, call the Oilers games, and he's been an outstanding player for the Junior Oilers. But yeah, you can't give up penalties to St. Albert.
No, you don't want them on that power play for sure. I mean, especially considering the way that they get dominated on the power play at home. Eventually they're going to convert that to on the road. But Ozzie McIntyre, as I'm looking at it right now, he was tied for 4th in points in the league. So
yeah, no, there's some heavy hitters here at the Bill Hunter Arena this afternoon/evening, and yeah, we're in for a good couple games. I'm super excited. Maybe we'll get someone on for the post game.
Yeah, for sure. Try and get Orange, but if they lose, it could be interesting. Hopefully we get someone on for.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get someone on an interview.
Especially the way they played against St. Albert, it's been wins, but we'll see, I guess, in terms of.
Well, you never know. If you take a bunch of penalties, and then you give Raiders a bunch of opportunities on the power play, and then you give up, 2 or 3. It changes everything.
For sure.
You got to stay out of the box. Yeah. You got to stay out of the box if you're Junior Oilers Orange.
When we talked to Layla Matthews the other day, Josh, when they won last weekend over St. Albert, she said it's one of their biggest rivalries, and even just like playing sports in general, if you played sports in Edmonton, I don't like playing St. Albert, right? So this can be a big physical game, especially considering the way these two teams have played recently, trying to get themselves back going to the way they like to be.
Yeah. So ultimately, 2 big games here at the Bill Hunter Arena. A lot of implications. We're only about halfway through the year, but these games could go a long way for any of these teams involved. Any final thoughts, Ewan?
Yeah, just one more thing on breaking down the standings here. Sherwood Park has 27 points with 19 games played. Junior Oilers Orange are right behind them, but they do have 2 more games played than Sherwood Park with 26 points. Junior Oilers Blue with 3 less games played than the Junior Oilers Orange, also tied with them in points, so likely a win today would jump them, and they have games at hand. Yep. So Orange hasn't had the start that they've liked. Fort Sask with 21 games played, 25 points, so the same with Orange. So they're tied there, and then St. Albert with 24 points and 19 games played. So realistically, like you said, all of them very, very, very close in terms of points and standings. And the games played are kind of fluttering in terms of the amount of games they've played. If you look at the South Division, all of them have played more than 20 games. In the North Division, a lot less. So it'll be really interesting to see, like, wins and losses can determine where you are in the playoffs right now.
Yeah, so the standings as they are right now, as we record this, could be completely different by the time we record the post game.
Yeah, we see Orange and Blue. If Blue wins today, they jump Sherwood Park unless Sherwood Park is playing. Sherwood Park does play today, so we'll keep you updated on that too against Leduc.
Leduc, okay, yeah. So
who has not been as good, but they still have 17 points, so they're still kind of in the hunt there, but they're still going to put up a fight. Sherwood Park hasn't been as great as late, Josh, so you got something also to keep note on.
Yeah, number 1 is still up for grabs, for sure.
But the big thing today is seeing both of these teams rebound off kind of what they've been building so far.
One final thought on my part. What we're seeing today could easily be a playoff matchup.
For sure.
A couple months down the line.
100%.
So that's what makes it even more exciting.
Yeah. And Fort Sask has been on fire as they can be. We said this last time about Blue being on fire, Josh, and it ended up with a big Sherwood Park victory. So hopefully, not being biased, but you always want to see Junior Oilers Blue win.
That's right. So for Ewan Manning, my name is Josh Jacko. This is the pregame for Junior Oilers with Manning and Jacko. We will be doing the post-game following game 2 of this doubleheader, and we hope to get one of the players, maybe a coach. We will see, and we thank you for joining us, and stay tuned for the games. Catch them on Flow Hockey. Nice. Fucking A.
Good job.
Yeah. How long was that? 15?
15, yeah.
Perfect.